Hello, coyotes. All right, welcome back to Connections Week, Weatherford College. Happy New Year. Let's have a round of applause for our student, Cameron Streck. Thank you for that wonderful music, and we appreciate your musicianship. Okay, here we go. It's 8:45. We're starting on time, so welcome back. Happy New Year. I hope your break was good. And this is Spring 2024 Connections Week. And I'm Susie Jerry, and I'm faculty, and I teach in the Substance Abuse Counseling Certificate Program in our Human Service Provider, Associates of Applied Science Department. And I've just moved into the role of Program Director for our department. I also want to say I'm an advisor for Phi Theta Kappa. That's our 2-year National Academic Honor Society, along with Sharon Johnson. So today, we're going to have, this is our all-campus meeting. You're all here. And this week, we're going to have wonderful activities and workshops to help us get connected so that we can better serve our students. And for today's program, I just want to thank CBRE, John Stark. I want to thank Tim Kimsey of our audio engineering department and his student worker, Austin. And I want to thank our student workers up there, Megan and Caleb from the theater department for helping with the lighting. And Larry Gillespie, our very own amazing audiovisual person. CBRE, and of course, Erin Davidson and her wonderful food service staff for putting on the spread this morning. So Weatherford College had a great 2023. Crystal Worley, our Director of Public Relations, I think she had our top 10 hits for 2023. It was a wonderful year, but I like to say 2024, and there's so much more that we will accomplish and achieve for our students here. So you may have put away your decorations and you're putting on your cap for how to serve our students now as we move into this semester. And it takes a village, not just a coyote village, but a community of caring village, which is Weatherford College. We're all here to assist, serve, and support our students, and each one of us has a role that matters to the future of our students. And as President Farmer likes to say, Weatherford College changes lives, and that's what we do here every day, and I know that's why you're here. So with that, I am going to introduce President Farmer of Weatherford College.
Thank you, Susie, and thank all of you. Welcome back, and Happy New Year, Happy 2024. I sincerely hope that each and every one of you had a wonderful, well-earned, restful break, and that you were able to recharge your batteries and re-energize, and looking forward to a fantastic new year. 2023 was an absolutely incredible year thanks to all of you. You made 2023 what it was, and I'm incredibly optimistic about what the future holds for Weatherford College. For those of you who are new this semester, I welcome you. Congratulations on your selection. You have arrived in a wonderful place, and I know Dr. Idoyaga is going to be introducing you shortly and helping you. I would encourage you to ask questions, get involved, make some friends. We're all here to help you and to support you. I'd also like to thank Dr. Idoyaga, Dr. Ibe, and all of you who served on the committee to put together the professional development activities that you're going to be engaging in this week. You know, we made a major step forward last fall with our professional development activities, and technology is changing. Everything is changing so quickly. And it's very important that we use these new tools to leverage them to control labor costs. And as we grow, that will allow us to continue to improve faculty wages, faculty and staff wages, improve working conditions, and become increasingly efficient with some of those tools that are out there. You know, last fall we had our Faculty Senate President, Marcy DeChera, and Professor Jared Stewart that led some artificial intelligence staff development activities, among many other very valuable trainings. And I can tell you that since that time, in the president's meetings at the national level, there has been no hotter topic than artificial intelligence and how it can be used to leverage labor costs and improve faculty and staff wages. And things like in human resources, using artificial intelligence to develop job descriptions. In the business office, using AI to conduct basic accounting procedures. And of course, in academics, instead of worrying about students cheating, as we have done here through faculty leadership, utilizing artificial intelligence as a teaching and learning tool. Things are changing so very rapidly. And I would encourage you to continue to embrace those changes and learn new things and become even better at what you do. Again, last year, 2023, was just absolutely incredible in academics and athletic accomplishments and the arts, just excelling at all levels. Moving forward in terms of our financial position, we are in a better financial position than we've ever been before. The TASB salary study implementation, our new facilities, all of our new programs. And again, I want to thank you for collaboratively making that happen. You are truly a dynamic team, and I consider it to be an honor and a privilege to serve with you. So thank you so very much. I had hoped to participate in the staff development activities with you today, but I got a little present in the mail, and it is a jury summons to the 43rd District Court at 9:45 this morning. So I'm going to say goodbye to all of you and head to District Court and wish you a wonderful day and a wonderful week, and happy 2024.
Thank you, President Farmer, and by the way, happy birthday. I know you wanted to go under the radar, but thank you all. I'm Dr. Shannon Idoyaga, and once again, I was able to join you during the fall in-service sessions, but I am so excited to be here at Weatherford College, and I can't thank you all enough for allowing me to work with you on a daily basis. And so I want to start out by, I like to begin these sessions with joy and accolades, and so I want to thank our Connections Week committee. And so if you can please stand up so we can just thank you for all of your hard work and our beautiful SharePoint site. And so I can see you, Alex. You're on that committee, stand up. Dr. Brown, thank y'all so much. Thank you, everybody. It really does take a village, and it was wonderful having student services and academic services work together in order to make this happen. So thank you to each and every one of you. As President Farmer mentioned earlier, we have a lot of new faculty and staff that have joined us. And so you can see behind us our wonderful instructors and staff that are now with us here at Weatherford College. And I don't like to stand up here and read to you all. So if you have joined us since the fall semester, if you can please stand up so that we can properly welcome each and every one of you as well. If you're online, feel free to send a wave, but please join us and welcome. There we go. I hope you find your joy in Weatherford College and joining the Coyote team very similar to the way I have. And so once again, it's such a blessing to be here. I started on October 1st, and we have had just a lot of amazing work happen even in this short period. And so before us is a list of just some of the accolades and the good work that's occurring. And first and foremost, I can't thank enough our divisional deans, our VP of Workforce, the department chairs, and program directors. And so this is our academic leadership team. So I'm going to bother you one more time to please stand, because we couldn't do this without every single one of you. So please join us. Thank you all for everything that you do to guide our faculty, to help with our professional development, and to serve our students. We couldn't do this without you. And our student success and retention shows because of this amazing work. So we have a lot of other good work that has been happening. Just within our performing arts, Dr. Song and her awards, Godspell that occurred this semester, everything has been just engaging and wonderful within this performance hall. So we're very blessed to have the talent that we have here. And I meet monthly with our faculty senate, so thank you to Marcy and your ongoing leadership and voice. We've had a lot of wonderful articulations that are happening. I'll talk about that a little bit more. But Dr. Matthews was instrumental in helping us to articulate with Texas Wesleyan. And so our workforce team has been bringing in grants. And so Meryl Carson and Mr. Indy have been instrumental in that work and bringing in about $300,000, so that's wonderful. I'm going to talk about our performance funding here in a minute, and so this type of work is going to be essential in order for us to be able to continue to build new programs and to serve our student population. And so just a lot of other good work across our promotion and rank committee, our pathways committee, looking at our outreach initiatives, a lot of the reaffirmations that have occurred. Our phlebotomy had 0 findings, so 100% success. Yep. EMT is actually happening right now, and so Mr. Indy will be joining us later on. So you can see here with all the great work with Phi Theta Kappa and our Honor Society and our leadership committees, just thank you all. If your name is not on here, charge it to my head and not my heart. You do some great work, so thank you all, Weatherford College and our Coyotes. Let's give yourself a round of applause. This is all you. And I'd be remiss to not thank our wonderful MC. I gave her permission to dance if she so choose, or, but thank you for leading us today, Susie. Once again, we've got a lot of new programs that are happening. And so the deans and the department chairs and we've been working on not only our new programs, our first cohort for our bachelor's in early childhood started, and we're really excited about that. And so Department Chair Shannon Stoker, Leslie, thank you for your great work and helping us get this very important program started. We've got a huge shortage of teachers across the state, and so I'm hoping this will be the beginning of our education programs where we can continue to expand and serve our community. We have submitted our sub-Cs for the agriculture and business, welding, and robotics and automation. So thank you for the team to help us meet that January 1st deadline. Dr. Jones and Stephanie Fields are instrumental in that. We're working hard right now on the following programs. So automotive, culinary to serve the new golf course, turf management, medical lab tech will hopefully be coming soon to work with our phlebotomy program. We're talking about surge tech, dental hygiene, and then our 5th bachelor's degrees. So you can see there is a lot of great work going on. We're also looking at articulations. So I've already mentioned Texas Wesleyan. But I'm working currently. These are all in the works, and so the agreements are moving back and forth for signature with Tarrant County, DeVry, the University of North Texas Health Science Center. We sent a team there to really look at articulation, not only in nursing, but other allied health programs. So our students can not only start at a certificate or associate degree, but move on to a bachelor's, master's, and even doctoral program. So that's pretty exciting. And so thank you, Dean Boswell, for your leadership. And then also looking at nursing. Yep. Oh, yeah. Come on. And then we're looking at articulating nursing in several areas. And so thank you to our nursing faculty. I wanted to give you all a quick update on House Bill 8. I mentioned this briefly in the fall because the state has changed our funding model. So I wanted to share this information with you because this is a complete sea change in how we've been operating. And so the rationale behind it is, within community colleges, we serve 43% of the population of students in the state of Texas, which I think is amazing. And then out of the students that are graduating with bachelor's degrees, 69% of those have transfer credit. So the state has really been looking at the way we're funded, and they've come up with a new model. So previously, just as a reminder, we had our state appropriations, our local property tax, and our tuition and fees. And so as they looked at the model, they did fund it. So they've added an additional $2.2 billion to our funding. However, there's been a pretty dramatic change. So House Bill 8 is looking at financial aid for SWIFT transfer. It's called FAST, for our dual credit areas. So students that are in dual credit and are on free and reduced lunch, or they're economically disadvantaged, they're going to be eligible for financial aid now. If we opt in, which so far the board they're talking about that right now, the tuition will have to reduce to about $55 per credit hour. That's significantly less than what we're doing now. And however, we also cannot charge fees. But for other students, we can continue to charge our tuition and fees. But the FAST is going to be a pretty big change. They're looking at shared services to support colleges working together in order to create more consortiums and opportunities to partner. The performance tier is what I'm going to go into detail here in a moment. And then there's also base tier funding. We're not going to talk about that. We're not eligible for base tier funding. We're going to be under the performance model, and it's because we exceed the full-time student equivalency. And then there is a community college advisory committee comprised of presidents from different size colleges, and they are still currently formalizing the last of the rulemaking, so we should have that information by the end of hopefully this month. So previously, you can see here, yes, we've had in our legacy model the contact hours, and we receive funding through our tax appropriations and then tuition and fees. So the big change is the contact hours are going away. And so we are in this performance tier model to the right. And as I said earlier, we're not eligible for the base funding. So when you look at this next page, there's going to be a heavy focus on high demand, high wage program areas. So the list that you see before you are areas of focus from the state. This does not change the importance of our general education and our core curriculum. Students still need the skills to read, write, critically think, process qualitative and quantitative information. And so we will be working collaboratively in these areas. And this is one of those moments where I like to say all ships rise together. So as we look at these program areas to meet our workforce demand, we'll be able to serve our students and our employer community. And once again, when you look at the outcomes, we do get additional weights for economically disadvantaged students. those that are academically disadvantaged, so if they're having to do developmental reading and writing, and then our adult learners, which we have a number that are coming back, particularly through our workforce areas. So we'll go into more detail during the Executive Vice President Hot Topics session on House Bill 8, but I wanted to share this because it is critical. It's going to truly change the way our funding model works, and we wouldn't be able to implement this and do it without Dr. Cantrell and her team and our financial services area. So thank you all for helping to guide these conversations and to look into the crystal ball of what's going to be happening with state reporting. So more to come. Next, this is also very timely, the Weatherford College Learning Community. So the common read is the cost of completion and student success in the community college. You couldn't have picked a better book based on what is happening in the state right now. And so there was an email from our library director on access to the book, and so please take a look at that, join the sessions in order to engage in these conversations about helping our students complete and be successful. One of the other changes that we will be making is we're going to move the majority of the pinning ceremonies to the week of May 13th. Please mark your calendars. We want to do this a little bit more systematically. One, it's so that all of the administration, we can attend as many as possible. It will help our facilities team to not have to constantly change rooms. So we're going to try a new approach to see if we can not only attend more sessions, but really support our community. We've outgrown the workforce community room. And so at a number of the ceremonies, we had guests going out to the hall, and we had to bring in chairs, and we have this beautiful performance hall, so we need to use this facility. And last, please join us. Our graduation is going to be on May the 23rd at the Fort Worth Convention Center, so if you can mark your calendar for that and participate. It's a little bit later based on the timing when we could actually acquire the space, but please join us for that. So I'm going to pause there and just tell you all Happy New Year. Thank you for joining us, and welcome back to the Connections Week Spring 2024. I look forward to working further with our wonderful committee for the fall. And so with that, I'd like to invite Dr. T up for a student services update. And thank you, everybody.
Hello, everyone. If you didn't notice today, the wind's coming up out of the south, which means mountain cedar is with us again, and I'm hoping it will be able to get through this without coughing a whole lot. On behalf of Student Services, I would like to welcome everyone back for the spring semester, and I would also like to talk about how wonderful and privileged I get to work with some absolutely wonderful and dedicated people in Student Services. Student Services has been rather busy, especially over the last 2 months as we were preparing for the spring semester and registering students. In December alone, we received more than 1,000 applications and met with more than 400 students to get them registered for classes, and that's just about 2 weeks of registration. In November, we advised about 1,000 students in face-to-face meetings, and that doesn't count on the phone calls where they desperately need us to advise them without coming in. Over the past calendar year, Student Services has processed more than 7,000 applications. And please note that every one of those applications has to be individually handled by our staff, so it takes a lot of time and a lot of effort, and the people who do this, sorry, mountain cedar, they have a lot of other things to do too, so the fact that they were able to get those applications processed, most of them in the summer, is a testament to their extraordinary dedication to the school and exceptional hard work that they do. Thank you. Financial aid does something very similar. In fact, the financial aid people aren't here today because they're busy working FAFSA applications. They too have processed well over 7,000. In fact, any student who just says that they might want to come to Weatherford College and they put in FAFSA that they get processed through even if they never never register for classes or even put in an application. So they work incredibly hard. I cannot stress enough how hard these people really work, and the tedious paperwork that they have to go through is really exceptional. In fact, financial aid not this Saturday, but next Saturday on January 20th, they're actually doing a tutorial for any students or parents who want to learn about FAFSA. And so they're coming in, giving up their own time on a Saturday to just sit in the computer labs and go over how to do the new FAFSA applications, which the U.S. government has created, which are so much more simple because they said it was simplified. Perhaps they'll give us the rules and how simple it is soon. Our Office of International Students has seen a notable increase in the number of international students attending WC, despite the difficulty that potential foreign students are having right now in getting visas. It's very difficult for students to get F1 visas into the U.S. right now. Again, their efforts are a demonstration. And they were working over the break. They're working in the mornings, they're coming in on Saturdays, they're working into the middle of the night to try to get these kids, because it's a very laborious process to get the F1 processing done. And so, again, they're working very hard. Veterans Affairs has seen an increase not only in our numbers in the fall, but another increase in the spring. Approximately 300 of our students are either veterans or the beneficiaries of veterans. Our services to students with disability has also increased from last academic year. This fall, Dawn and her team have served 257 students. The testing center has been exceptionally busy. The Midwestern University Testing Center has just been closed down about 2 months ago. And so we're starting to see more and more people who were using the Midwestern University Testing Center coming down here, whether it's for GEDs or other sorts of professional tests that need to be taken. So not only are they doing the normal testing, but they're seeing an increase as a result of the closure of the Midwestern University Testing Center. Housing has been busy, not only because the dorms have been packed, but due to an unfortunate flood that occurred in one of the dorms just before Thanksgiving. That was a fun time. Excuse me. That led to many of these students having to be housed elsewhere, anywhere from a few days to several weeks. And I would personally like to thank the WC staff, student services staff, business office staff, and the CBRE staff who moved heaven and earth for those students and did things so incredibly quickly. They didn't panic, despite the fact that Niagara Falls was flowing out of the building 2. When Doug Jefferson sent me a text and said, "We have a flood." I thought it was a clogged toilet. And I got there and I saw a very pretty waterfall coming down the steps, which I don't want a pretty waterfall coming out of the dorms, but it was there. Within hours, this was being handled, and we were able to get students into dorms by that evening. And again, that's a testament to the dedication of WC people. The Coyote Care Center, which includes both the Coyote Counseling Center and the Coyote Clinic, have been very busy. Both sides of the care center have seen plenty of patients over the fall semester. I'd like to point out that the care center, both sides of it, those services are not only there for our students, but for all of us. In particular, on the counseling center side, we are just about to open up our calming room, where people who are having a difficult time and stressed out can go in there and de-stress. And I suspect that all of us probably could book some time there. In fact, I'm going to try to get a standing reservation at a certain time for that, especially in the summer, or when I find out that there's another Niagara Falls coming down the dorm. Student life activities will continue this spring with 32 planned activities. This includes my personal favorite, Casino Night. All WC employees are welcome to attend these. Casino Night in particular is incredible amounts of fun. I would strongly encourage it. If you kind of like to gamble, but you don't want to lose money, that's the thing to do. Our student ambassadors have given an enormous number of tours over the fall semester. In December alone, they provided 62 individual tours and group tours for more than 80 would-be students. And for those of you who went to the employee banquet in December, you saw the young men and women wearing those black blazers and all of those were our ambassadors. And so they do a lot of things that oftentimes you might not realize. This year, our TRIO program is celebrating their 25th year at Weatherford College. Talent Search and Upward Bound play important roles in helping to shape and guide students from the 6th grade forward, trying to move them toward considering a form of higher education or post-secondary training. Student Support Services takes in first-generation college students or low-income students or those with some disabilities or a combination of all of those. And those students in SSS have seen tremendous amounts of success over the years at WC, and that is the success of the TRIO program overall is again showing I like to use the word dedication, the dedication of our TRIO specialists and the faculty that work with them. I would like to thank all of you who have been so generous in donating food and other items for the Coyote Pantry. You don't realize just how big a deal that means to those people who are hungry and in need. I would also encourage all of you to donate to the WC Foundation. Just a few dollars a month can make a huge difference in the lives of our students who are struggling. I would like to point out, just so you know, that the foundation does not provide money for tuition, books, or fees, or anything like that. So when your students do come to you and say, I can't pay for these books, the foundation can't do anything about that, nor can student services. So just remember that there's certain limitations of what we can and can't do with the money. This past fall, we had more than 300 students earn an associate's degree or some other credential. And this reminds me that May 23rd, which is a Thursday, is the most important day of the year for the college, and that is graduation. And while there is a large team of individuals that make graduation happen, the two people that are most instrumental in organizing it all and making it seem like everything just works so seamlessly is Anna Nichols with the assistance of Melissa Butler. And so I would really like it if everyone could give Anna and Melissa a hand. They work incredibly hard to make that graduation, and in the weeks before, if Anna leaves before 8 in the evening, that's an early night for her as she's prepping up for graduation. Also, I'd like to ask the faculty to put May 23rd on their calendar and plan on attending. This is your chance to see your students walk across that stage, to say congratulations, to tell them how proud you are of them, and to say goodbye from Weatherford College. And I know it would mean a lot for them to see you there as the college celebrates their great accomplishment. Finally, I would like to recognize the staff member of the year as she comes out of student services, Tammy Peters. Tammy runs veterans and does an outstanding job doing it. Many of you in this room have probably attended the Veterans Day event over the years. Those events occur so flawlessly due to the efforts of Tammy as well as the assistance of Melissa Butler. Tammy deeply cares about her veterans and goes above and beyond for them. Honoring her with Staff Member of the Year is entirely appropriate because she exemplifies what Staff Member of the Year is all about. And I don't know if Tammy's in here or she's actually helping veterans right now, but if we could all give her a round of applause for Tammy, that sure would. And with that, thank you, and I hope everyone has a great spring semester and we have no more Niagara Falls coming out of the dorms. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. T. Next, we're going to have Chief Anthony Bigongiari, and I don't know if I said it right, so we just all call him Chief Big. And he has a wonderful police officer team, the staff. They do a lot to keep us safe and secure and also to support our students. And I just want to say maybe something some of you don't know or will know. We do Mardi Gras here. We're going to have our second annual Mardi Gras in February. And Chief Big and his family, they create an incredible gumbo. So come out and try it. All right, Chief Big, come on down.
I don't know about The gumbo thing is kind of subjective. For the record, I only got honorable mention last year, so I'm hoping to build on that for this year. I won't take very much of your time. First of all, thank you for being here. Thank you for allowing me to speak. The one and most important thing I'm going to tell to all of you, do we have any new faculty members in here? Should have a few. Do we have anyone who doesn't have our duty phone number in here? Just in case, I'm going to give it out. I'm going to give it out 3 times. If you don't already have it in your personal cell phone, please put this number into your cell phone that I'm about to give you. With this number, 24 hours a day, pretty much 365 days a year, even if you call it at 3 in the morning, you will get either one of my police officers or one of our wonderful security officers who is physically here on this campus will answer the phone with no automated message tree or any of that stuff. You can actually get a live human being who can help you and get to you here on campus within about a minute or two. So that number is 817-771-3535. 817-771-3535. And I'll say it one last time, 817-771-3535. My goal is to have all of our students, faculty, and staff at this campus have that number in their cell phone. We're a little bit better than we were hopefully this time last year, but we still have a long ways to go. I'm going to ask each of you faculty members in here to do me a small favor. The first day of class, as you're going through your introduction, please give that number out to your students in case they don't have it. It would mean the world to me. As far as your police department goes, when we started the last semester, I kind of challenged my team with a new motto for the year. It's very simple, 5 simple words: more visible and better prepared. And we've been kind of living under that for the last semester with mixed results. And there's 2 parts of that. There's the more visible part, and for our faculty members here, I'll put this in terms that you like to use. I'd give us a grade of about a C+ on that. We haven't been as visible as I'd like to be. We've had a lot of unanticipated illnesses, surgeries, and things that have simply prevented us from having our folks out there on campus in a visible way as much as I would like. We've done better than we did last year, but we're still not where I want us to be. But hopefully over the next semester, you guys will see your campus police officers and our uniformed security guards everywhere, and will be a constant presence. My goal is to have every member of our campus community see one of us at least once a day, so that you know we're here trying to keep you safe. On the better prepared part, I'll say we've done a much better job. I'd give us about an A-. An A- because we're never gonna get an A+, because I can never say we are fully prepared for anything that happens. But I have done more training in the last 6 months than I have at any time in my career since I was in the police academy. We have multiple training sessions for our officers covering pretty much everything. Right now, the reason I have to duck in and duck out is because we're doing yet another training session. Right now, we have you guys may have seen, hopefully everybody saw the email I sent out this morning, but the entirety, the whole second floor of Boyd is shut down today and tomorrow because we're doing tactical training, preparing for active shooter events. Obviously, that's something that's big on everybody's mind since Uvalde. I wanted us to be ahead of the curve. You guys probably don't know what ALERT is. It stands for, oh shoot, I'm having a brain. Advanced Law Enforcement Rapid Response Techniques. That's kind of the gold standard for law enforcement training in that area. I was involved with it in Austin. When I came here, I was delighted that the majority of our officers were familiar with it. Just last semester, several of our officers went through a course to become certified instructors for ALERT, and now I'm proud to say that today is the first day we're passing that knowledge on to other agencies. So your campus police department, while y'all are in here, we're in the Boyd building, and our instructors are teaching it to game wardens, sheriff's deputies, we're passing that knowledge on. Were y'all here for the CRACE training with Sergeant Garcia? Most of y'all. Wasn't that great? I know we probably have a handful of people in here who haven't been through that training. I want you guys to know that we're going to make that training available to the entire campus community, including students and even just members of the public that aren't affiliated with the college. I don't know if it'll be Sergeant Garcia that'll be teaching it, or now our officer Lauren Foster is also certified to teach that class, but we will be offering that during the semester. Also, for you guys, we have my regular that I do every spring semester. I have my Enhancing Public Safety course. I'll send out an email to everybody about that at some point during this semester, and I'd encourage anybody that hasn't been to it yet to go. It's just a 1-hour class I give during lunch. It gets marginally better every year, so this is the 3rd year I'll be doing it, so it might actually be entertaining this time. I'm working on it. I'd like to recognize Julia Lowry, I saw back there, for helping us with our Stop the Bleed. For those of y'all who haven't seen the emails or just aren't aware of it, we've been offering a Stop the Bleed training, which is a couple-hour class on basic, it's how to stop severe bleeding, which hopefully we'll never have an active shooter, but that's one thing that in that scenario can save a lot of lives. Julia's been heavily involved in that. We'll be offering more sessions of that as well. One last thing regarding, a couple more things regarding training. I hope y'all saw the email that I put out last week. Is that Sergeant Spector back there? I can't see with the lights in my face, but I'd like to introduce everyone to our new Wise County Sergeant, Terry Spector. Sergeant Spector is an inductee to the USA Martial Arts Hall of Fame, and he will be teaching a hands-on self-defense seminar this Friday, just for you guys, from 1 to 3 p.m. We were limiting that to 20 participants, but if you want to take part in that class and you haven't already done so, please email Candace Crawford, and she can add you to our list. If we have sufficient interest, we'll have a second session from 3 to 5 after that. Lastly, in May, we've been doing a lot of tabletop drills for active shooter events and other emergencies on campus, which is something we've never done before. Some of y'all, we haven't done it before while I've been here. Some of y'all have been involved in those. Paul Williams, Mike Indy, a lot of different people have participated in those. Doug Jefferson. We're going to continue doing those every quarter. Just so y'all know, your campus police department also every quarter does scenario-based training with the Weatherford Police Department. And this is all culminating in these kind of giant interagency multidisciplinary drills. We did our first one last month with Weatherford PD at the hospital. And in May, we're going to be doing one here on campus, which will involve us, Weatherford PD, Parker County, fire, EMS, and pretty much every agency around us. I'd like to really quickly thank Dr. Ibe, Dr. T, Dr. Hampe, and Dr. Ito Yaga for allowing that to take place on May 24th. We'll basically be shutting down the entire academic building after finals are done. It's really a huge thing, and I'm really excited about it. It's something I don't think we've ever been able to do something like that of this scale on this campus. So I say all of that to say, as far as a better prepared goes, I think we are better prepared, certainly than we were last year. And as long as I'm here, we're going to keep getting better and better prepared. The goal is constant improvement. One last thing, like I mentioned, we're shutting down Boyd for today and tomorrow, the second floor of Boyd. Because of the training we're doing, some of it involves simulated gunfire. So if you hear gunshots coming from Boyd, that's just us. Please don't panic or think something's wrong. Tomorrow I'll be actively involved in that, and if you see me with little paintball marks all over me walking around tomorrow and I look really upset, that means it didn't go well for me. But with that, I will leave it to you. If you guys have any questions, please email me. I've got to get back to that training scenario, but welcome to Connections Week. I'm so glad everyone's here.
Don't we have a great police chief here? Chief Big? And don't undersell the gumbo. It's really good, really, really good. A little on the spicy side. But Dwayne, when is the Mardi Gras event? February 13th. Be sure and be a part of that and come hungry. It's a great event. For new folks, my name is Brent Baker. I have the pleasure of being here at Weatherford College. I'm going into my 27th year at Weatherford College. And earlier, yeah, it's fun. It's weird when you've been somewhere half of your life, right? And we introduced earlier all of the new folks. If you have been here 20 years or more, would you please stand for a second? 20 years or more at Weatherford College. Please stand. All right. I should have said, please stand if you can. And I'm in that group. So new folks, these are the folks to talk to, to ask questions, and they would love to help mentor, and just, they're here because they love students, and it's a great place to be, and I know that's why you're here as well. I'm going to just be very brief on an update on institutional advancement, and I can't really touch on everything. There's not time, but a couple of highlights. Weatherford College Foundation. We have some very generous donors that love this college. In the calendar year 2023, we had $470,000 in gifts to the WC Foundation. Most of those are for scholarships. A percentage of those are for our Student Emergency Fund and other projects as well. Our online application for scholarships is now open. It opened on January the 1st. It closes on March 31st. So please encourage all of your students. I'm always surprised how few applications we get. We get a decent number, but for a college our size, we should get more. So please encourage your students to fill out that application. No, you don't have to have a 4.0. No, you don't have to have financial need in a great way. There's lots of different scholarships and lots of different criteria that your students may fit, and they don't even know it. The Student Emergency Fund. Let me clarify something that Dr. T said earlier. He was talking about what the foundation can and can't pay. He was referring to the Student Emergency Fund. We do pay tuition fees and books in our scholarship program, of course. But in our Student Emergency Fund, that's a different thing altogether. We try to help a student who has come across a financial emergency and they need help right now. And by the way, thank you to all the folks in here that have helped us identify students in that light. We could use some more donations to that fund, to be honest with you. So if you have some giving you'd like to do, that'd be a good thing to earmark your gift toward. And thank you very much. And I want to thank Michelle Owens and Susan Sodak. They helped me on a committee that we can quickly turn that around. And usually within 24 hours, we've helped a student that is facing an emergency. Creative Services, they do a phenomenal job. We just had a report last week. Our social media accounts at Weatherford College in the year 2023 had 14.4 million impressions this past year. 14.4 million impressions, meaning someone saw our social media of a variety of different aspects of our college, and 958,000 engagements. That means that many clicks, forwards, shares, comments, et cetera, et cetera. And that team does a phenomenal job. By the way, both of those numbers are up about 130% compared to last year. Yeah, give them a hand. That is really awesome. You may have heard about our new alumni house. We just purchased a house on East Park, 301 East Park to be exact. And this will be our new alumni house. I've had a lot of questions about this. This is done quite frequently by universities all over the nation, but it's not very common among community colleges, and it's going to set us apart. Actually, I'm going to be moving into that house along with Michelle and Susan, Evelyn Payne as well. And this will be a place that we host events, not just for alumni, but for the entire community. But it will be filled with memorabilia celebrating the heritage and the history of Weatherford College. And we hope to get in there sometime in the month of February. And we'll be continually adding to that. And so I want to thank everybody who's been a part of that. It's been a big team. It's very exciting. Radio station, very exciting things. Dave Calley is going to give an update to the Board of Trustees this Thursday. But a couple of quick highlights. Sponsorships for that radio station are way ahead of schedule. For instance, this past November, we had over $27,000 billed for that radio station in sponsorships. That's not that unlike most other months, and it is really becoming financially viable, and it is ahead of schedule on sponsorships. And we're about to install some new equipment very, very soon on our 88.5 FM tower that should fix some of the coverage areas. If you've tried to tune in 88.5 and it's kind of scratchy, this should fix much of that here in the local area, and it'll be really booming after that's done. Hopefully that'll happen here in the next couple of months. Institutional effectiveness, course evaluations. All faculty are interested and involved in this. Traditionally, before we hired Watermark and engaged with that group, our response rate on course evaluations was about 5%. This past fall, in the 16-week courses, we had a 69.5% response rate on course evaluations. That's fantastic. And all that does is help us become better, right? So thank you, the entire team, for making that happen. Chief Big, he already gave his update. I think we have the most well-trained police force we've ever had. I'd put us up against anybody, any college out there. Our folks do a great job. A couple of dates to give you to remember. Our Alumni Awards Luncheon will be March 22nd. That's a Friday, March 22nd. That's a little earlier than it normally is. And you can nominate alumni now for that. Let me know if you need help with that. Taste of Parker County, April 18th. A really fun event. Come hungry to that event as well. And if you're really OCD, I'll give you the date now for the 2024 Alumni Awards Dinner, the Christmas dinner. December 5th, 2024. It's the first Thursday. Is that the first Thursday? Does anybody know? Anyway, it's the first Thursday. Whatever that day is, put that on your calendar now if you're really ahead of the game, and we'll be turning around and celebrating the holidays right again. Thank you for all you do for your students and for everybody here at Weatherford College. Thank you.
Brent Baker, and now we're going to take a break. So we have a 10-minute break. You can get more refreshments, go to the restroom, and when you come back, we're going to hear panelists. So move where you can see where the chairs are, so come back and sit where you can see and hear our faculty and staff share some wisdom. Thank you. All Campus Connections Week. All those, come on down, come on in, take a seat. Welcome back to part 2, and we're gonna speak with some of our campus coyotes that serve our students. And I just had a thought. I mean, Dr. Y. Idoyaga mentioned I have a dance background, and I just want to remind all the staff and faculty that Weatherford College offers no charge fitness classes to everyone. I take regularly at 5:15 with Stephanie Rhodes in the Mints, and I think there's also, I'm teaching an 11:45 class Monday, Wednesday, Friday. So don't forget about that. That's free of charge, and come join us. And we're taking our seats, and I'm going to hand it over to Brent Baker.
Thank you, Susie. Susie said she likes to dance. Well, she's underselling herself. She danced on Broadway. She was in I believe, the original cast of 42nd Street. Is that right? And man, that's pretty awesome. Okay. I need to clarify something. Jeff Lightfoot came up to me in the break and said, "Brent, are you having any problems at home?" I said, "No, not that I know." And he goes, "Well, you just announced to the entire college that you're moving into a house with 3 women in February." Okay, our offices are moving into the house. I'll be sleeping in my regular home, unless she hears about this, and then maybe I will be. And then by the way, we're ahead of schedule. Then also during the break, we have a visitor here. I guess he's really not a visitor. Did you know that we have a cat here? Where is he? Where'd I go? We have a cat in here, and this is a service cat. Can you say hello to Raider? Give him a hand. Raider is a service cat, and he can detect diabetic, help me, high and low blood sugar in an emergency situation. And tell me your name again. Carrie. And he's named Raider. And I asked, is he named Raider because he went to Texas Tech? And she slapped me immediately because she went to Texas A&M. She said, no. She said, I'm a big Raiders fan, Las Vegas Raiders. We got one over here. Because she went to high school with the great Tim Brown. If you know NFL history, the Hall of Famer Tim Brown, she went to high school with him. I don't know why I'm telling you all that. It just came to mind. Okay. Speaking of athletics, we have a forum. We're going to spend about the next 30 minutes, a panel, I should say, and we're going to talk about athletics and talk about the marriage between athletics and academics and what makes a student athlete, and how can we help each other? You know, in the past several years, we've gone from 5 sports to 10 sports. So athletics has become even a bigger part of what we do at Weatherford College. We're building this brand new, beautiful dorm, and a lot of those folks in that dorm are going to be student athletes, and we're going to have more and more coming. So Dr. Y and her team thought it'd be a great topic, and I do too. We had several coaches that volunteered to be a part of this. If you volunteered to be a part of this panel, would you please come up now? We've got a couple of microphones that y'all can use here, and you can pass around. Please give the coaches a hand that are coming up. That's Jeff Lightfoot, our assistant athletic director and head baseball coach. That's Kylie May, our head volleyball coach. Johnny Emmons, our rodeo coach. Bob McKinley, our athletic director and women's basketball coach. And Haley Williams, our head softball coach. And before I go any further, everyone on this panel has won the Coach of the Year award at least once. Think about that. And some of them very recently. And one of them, I won't tell you who, just won his 1,000th game at Weatherford College. It's you, Bob. It's you. 1,000 wins. Okay. So we're going to talk about athletics and how we can work together. And with the microphone, you can just pass it amongst yourselves, whoever wants to answer. You don't all have to answer every question. But I'd like to start off with just some of the basics on describing a day in the life of a student athlete. Because student athletes are different. They have a different schedule than other students. Whoever wants to address it, can you talk about what a day in the life of a typical student athlete is in season and out of season? There's a microphone sitting there. Y'all can pass these mics back and forth. Whoever wants to start.
Sure, Brent. I'll go ahead and start. And obviously, it's a different answer for every sport. In baseball, we really don't have an off season. We play a fall schedule. We play a spring schedule. Our guys typically lift weights in the morning. We have two different groups that lift weights in the morning, typically before classes get started. So we're lifting 6:45 to 7:30 in split groups. The other guys will have 8 o'clock classes. So they'll lift weights. They'll go to class, grab a quick bite to eat. Typically we start practice 12:30 to 1:30, depending on if it's Monday, Wednesday schedule or Tuesday, Thursday schedule. We'll typically have an early group come in and get a little early work done, get practice going. After practice, they get something to eat and typically are encouraged to get some late work done, get some cage work done on their own. And then we have a study hall requirement for them too, depending on their freshman or sophomore, depending on their GPA, typically from 2 to 4 hours a week of study hall requirement as well on those guys.
Our schedule for volleyball is pretty much just the flip of that. So my girls start classes at the 7:30 class. We have practice. Weights usually start at 3:30 3 times a week, and then we have practice from 4:30 to 6:30. In between classes and practice, they have a study hall requirement as well, 3 hours of study hall. And between class and practice is their time to get that done, to get organized, to do homework, to maybe squeeze in a nap. And then after practice, squeeze in dinner and some more homework, hopefully. And then matches obviously are in there for the fall. We have a spring schedule as well. It's not quite as heavy, but we have anywhere from 2 to 4 matches a week between August and Thanksgiving. So pretty busy.
Our schedule is pretty similar to baseball's as well. We will do, most of our girls have a 7:30 class. We will lift at 12:30. If we're not in the weight room that day, we have early work and bullpens at 12:30. So we usually start practice around 1:30 after early work. It's usually about a 3-hour practice. Then they go to dinner, study hall, hopefully staying out of trouble, going to bed. And they're 6 days a week. So we're out here Monday through Saturday. Most of the time they have Sundays off, but they're very busy, very scheduled out. Some of our girls even have part-time jobs as well. So a lot going on, a lot required of them. They also have their study hall hours based on their GPA. So yeah, busy, pretty scheduled out, but there's not really an off season for us either. We play a 20-game fall schedule and then about a 60-game spring schedule. So about get ready to get going here in a minute.
We don't tell our recruits about any of this stuff. Our schedules are pretty much the same. Our workout schedules, game schedules, the trips that we have. They get back late, sometimes midnight or later, and they still are expected to be up for class the next day. But again, we're trying to produce a product that can make Weatherford College really proud of what we're doing.
We too are pretty much a year-round sport. We don't really have an off-season. Typically, our guys will get up and drive out to the farm, feed their horses, hay, water, clean the stalls, and have to back to camp. So it'll be in class at 9, 10:30, 1, and then back to the farm at 3. Get their horses ready. We have practice from 4 till dark, whatever. After that, they will, have to put their horses up, unsaddle, clean stalls, feed, water, hay again. And they're typically probably getting back to campus at 8:30 at night.
By the way, I heard that Johnny Emmons loves to have the spotlight on him. He loves to speak in public, so we brought a spotlight for Johnny. So there you go. Okay. Coach McKinley, can I ask you a question specifically, and anybody else wants to add to this? Over your 40 years of doing this at Weatherford College, 40 plus, you've had hundreds of student athletes graduate, and you've had dozens of all-academic conference and some academic All-Americans. Why do you think you've been able to have that success with your students that have done well on the court and in the classroom?
Well, that's kind of a difficult question. We've been very fortunate to have really good student athletes, and student athletes are only as good as what our faculty can produce. And I'd like to thank all of you for what you've done for us in athletics. And I'll just let you know that in the 40 years I've been here, I haven't had a single problem with any faculty member.
Excellent, thank you. So this is for any of y'all that want to address it. What can faculty do to help students be successful without sacrificing academic rigor?
Tell on them. Tell on them. If they're not in class, tell on them. If they're not turning their stuff in, tell on them. Like, a lot of our kids, they're away from home for the first time. They're either out of state or they're, 5 hours from home. So we're now basically their parents, right? If you're having an issue or they're not getting the material or they're not coming or they're falling asleep in class, tell on them. Email me, call me. They would all agree that they be a tattletale. And we all tell our kids, we can't help you unless we know you need help. And we do our part as far as class checks, grade checks, things like that. But these kids they're sneaky, right? Sometimes we don't get the whole truth or the full truth, so the only way we can help them is if we know what's going on. So if you have an issue or a problem, I'm always ready. Like, we will help our kids as much as we can. And we brag about you guys. Like, when we're recruiting and bringing kids in on visits, we sell you guys just as much as we sell anything else on campus, whether it's facilities, scholarships, playing time, things like that. We sell you guys too. Like, we brag on y'all. We tell them they're gonna get a good education, everything is accredited, you're gonna be challenged in the classroom, but you're gonna be prepared for the university level once you leave here if you do what you're supposed to do. So yeah, my biggest thing is, if you know you have a softball kid in your class and you're not getting the results or the effort that you want and that they need to be, putting out there to get good results, tell me. Tell one of my assistants, tell me, tell whoever, and we'll get it straightened out as much as we can.
I guess I'll go. Just an understanding and flexibility without, making it unfair. I think for the most part, our kids want to be successful in the classroom, and they really do want to work hard, and they want to make things work. So just an understanding of how much control we have over our game schedule or our conference tournament schedules. There are some things that we can't change or move. So being able to say, okay, you can't take the test on this day, but can you take it online? Can it be proctored? Some flexibility in that way. I always tell my kids they have to be proactive. They have to tell their professors a week beforehand, not the day after they're supposed to take a test. They need to prepare and be proactive. So if they're doing their part, some flexibility and understanding in their schedules is super helpful to help them be independent and responsible without getting us involved if we don't need to be. I think that's part of our jobs as coaches, is to, help them figure it out on their own a little bit and give them some freedom and flexibility to be independent adults without having to hold their hand and figure everything out for them, which sometimes they want, but I will not do.
I think it's important to understand the expectations and also understand the expectation that we have for student athletes is no different than what you have for them. In a perfect scenario, we want to win a national championship. We want to have a 4.0 GPA as a team. We want them to go to a four-year school with an opportunity to get a bachelor's degree and beyond. So I think we're on the same page. I think you want excellence out of them. We want excellence out of them. I don't think there's anybody up here that doesn't have that expectation. And I'll agree with what Coach McKinley said. I haven't had any issue. I think by and large part, and when you talk about, I know this is about academics, but from admissions to dorms to student life and everywhere in between, our athletes have a great experience. And if there's anything that we can do better, we want to know. We want to be communicated with. And over the years, I've modified how we've done grade checks. I've modified how we've done this, how we've done that, and I'm always looking for a better way to do it. So if you've got a suggestion, you're welcome to email me or set up a meeting with me, or I'm sure we have open door for anybody up here, and we would love to hear feedback on how to do things better. But we've had a great experience. Our student athletes are well taken care of, but I think there's a misnomer that, coaches want special treatment for their athletes. There's nothing further from the truth. We want high expectations for them. Yes, there has to be modifications made in terms of, schedulings and things like that at times. For us, weather plays a big factor with that. We play a Wednesday, Saturday doubleheader schedule, and if it rains on Wednesday, by conference rule, we have to play on Thursday. And sometimes we don't know that until the night before or even that morning sometimes. So things come up, in our athlete schedules that we just need to be worked with. We don't want special treatment, but we have to be able to get them in a position to be successful. And I know that's what you want to.
Anybody else on that one? Let me ask a similar question, but we have a lot of people in the room that are not faculty members, that are staff members, that have all kinds of different roles. What can we do as staff members to better support our student athletes?
Tell on them, yeah. Our kids love it when they see you guys at games. Like, their faces light up when they're like, oh, there's my math teacher, or there's my history teacher. And we play in the middle of the day, so just be at work, but come outside and watch softball. So that's a great way to support our kids, is to come watch them do what they love, come watch them do what they're good at and something that they're excited about. And when they see you guys there, it really does make a difference, and they do get excited, especially kids that don't have family close and don't ever have family at games. When a professor shows up or a staff member shows up, they're pumped, So, yeah, that's my biggest thing, is I would say if you have time to come out to a sporting event, come and support, cheer, be loud. Softball's fun to watch. Volleyball's good, baseball's good, basketball's good, rodeo, right? So stay on the clock, but come watch some games.
Just to piggyback on that, everybody in this room is in the relationship business. And I know that I'm a better coach when I have better relationships with my guys. Get to know them. Get to know your student athletes. They excel better on the field, in the classroom, whenever they have relationships with the people around them. So I would say just get to know them and challenge yourself to establish relationships. And that's not just student athletes, but with all your students.
Ours are just really excited about seeing any faculty member at our games. And for us, we play at 5 o'clock on Wednesday and 2 o'clock on Saturday, and you're welcome to bring you and your family out to any of our games. Same thing for all of our sports. We'd love to see any of you out there for our games. Rodeo?
I think you hit it.
Okay. Rodeo would love for you to come out and watch them too.
Where's that spotlight? Got that spotlight working still?
Would you remove that?
Oh, Johnny, shut it down. Okay. Johnny has a little bit of a unique situation because he really doesn't have any home rodeos except for the alumni rodeo in November. Yeah. And so all of his are pretty far away. So probably the closest would be Stephenville. Am I right? That's their closest rodeo. That's the one I went to last year, and it was a blast. I had a great time. Ate at Hard Eight Barbecue ahead of time, and then went to the rodeo. So, are there any other inherent issues that student athletes face that stand in their way of being successful that maybe other students don't face?
The only thing I can think of off the top of my head is most of us have quite a few international students who are far from home, maybe aren't great English speakers yet, but are smart kids and they really want to work hard. They probably, I think all of us would say, work harder than our kids that are, local or from the United States. They really want to be successful. So just realizing and understanding that and doing what you can to reach out and help them. I know it's frustrating. It's frustrating as a coach trying to coach someone who doesn't understand what you're saying. And I'm doing theatrical things to try and show them what I want them to do. But they'll do whatever they can to understand and make it work. And they're far from home and they maybe have a little bit harder than some of our local kids. So that's the only thing I can think of, just trying to reach out and help those kids and make them feel like they have a home away from home.
I think an understanding that typically success in the classroom and success on the court or on the field is tied together. So if there's a red flag in the classroom, typically there's something going on in a bigger picture. Success is success, and we talk to our guys all the time about work ethic's not situational. If you have work ethic on the baseball field, you're going to have work ethic in the classroom. If you're going to be punctual to the things that we ask you to go to, whether it be weight room or a early work session or whatever it is, and you're going to be punctual in the classroom, and they're tied together. So if there's something going on academically that we need to be aware of, typically there's a larger issue. So just going back to what Coach Williams said, and communicate is important.
Can a couple of y'all briefly talk about the differences between high school in student athlete world, high school, then this level of athletics, the 2-year college level of athletics, then from there to 4-year. A lot of people read about the 4 years and they get a lot of publicity, but it's really a different life that they live, and by the way, that y'all live as well, different demands. So can you talk about some of the differences between those levels?
I would probably say, like our kids here, not only are they playing for their scholarship here and trying to win a championship here, but they're also trying to move on and trying to get their school paid for at the next level, making sure they have the grades to get to the next level too. And like we'll play in the fall, we'll play a competitive schedule. Like we'll play Division I schools, 4-year Division I schools, D2 schools, and we'll compete. Sometimes we'll beat those 4-year schools. We'll play them competitively. So the difference as far as this, and it varies sport to sport, but we're competitive with the 4-year schools athletically as well. So we're trying to bring in kids that can move on in that way as well. And probably the other difference is, it's everything is earned. I never taught or coached in high school. That was on purpose because I didn't want to have to deal with parents and boosters and things like that. But they know that they're here on scholarship, that they're earning their money, that this comes first, and that everything has to be earned here. And the further up that you want to play, like if you're wanting to move on from here, they understand what it takes to get there. Not everybody accomplishes that goal, but a majority of our kids do graduate, overwhelming majority graduate, and most of our kids, if they want to keep playing, they're having that opportunity to move on and play. Whether they're a role player for us or a starter, I always tell them, if you have the grades, we're going to find a place for you to go. Especially if we do better as a team, it's easier for them to get recruited as well. I think I forgot what the question was, but the different levels, yeah. So for us, it's trying to prepare them to move on. They all want to move on from here, and pursue their bachelor's degree, play at the next level. So we're trying to prepare them for that academically and athletically. So that's why you hear the schedules that we have. It's a pretty rigorous schedule. They're busy. They're wore out. When we're getting deep into April, our girls are wore out. I'm wore out. it's a lot. Like if our girls are on campus, when they move back in on the 9th, like I won't have a break till they leave in May, because if they're on campus, I'm always like, what, waiting for something's going to happen, right? So being in charge of student athletes and then living on campus and things like that, if they're on campus, we're on the clock. So it's 24 hours a day. So you're just waiting for that phone to ring about the next issue that needs to be solved. So they're under pressure. They're under pressure to perform. They're under pressure to perform in the classroom, on the softball field, and that pressure there to get seen, get signed to go to the next level. And in high school, a lot of it's just they play for fun. And I'm not saying that it's not playing for fun here too, but they understand they're playing for scholarship money. They're playing to move on. They're playing for, the better they do as a team, the more opportunities they're going to have to move on from here as well. So I think that the pressure, the demands is the biggest difference. If we're not going to get into the athletic side of it, it's the pressure to perform, the pressure to do well and succeed in every aspect. Like he said, work ethic is work ethic. So that's probably the biggest difference that I would say is just the pressure that they're under, the time demand that they're under. And that's just part of it. All of us, we're student athletes in college too, and that's just part of it. It's demanding. Being a student athlete is very hard. And we tell our kids when we bring them in on visits, if you don't love softball as a high school person, as a high school student, don't play it in college, because it's a job. It is a full-time job. It is a demanding job, physically, mentally, emotionally. It's a lot for all of them and all of us.
Well, one of the things that I'd like to address is the fact that all of the kids that we have coming in have been playing either AAU or some kind of club team sport, and their parents are paying, and if you have children that are in with those club team things, you know what it costs to keep them in those. Those parents have been paying that on those kids sometimes from when they're, like 8, 9, 10 years old even. I know my granddaughter went through that with teams, and you can pay upwards of $10,000 a summer to have them play with some of those teams. And you can see what the repercussions would be for the family if those kids don't get scholarships. So there's a lot of pressure on that kid to be successful so that they can go on to 4-year schools, because families have put lots of money in that. And then especially with the young ladies that are playing sports, they've been kind of on the second page. They don't get the attention that most of the guys get in sports. And that's one of the things that we kind of fight here too, is that we are trying to get attention for all of our athletes, but especially our girls. They kind of feel second rate when they come in. So we're trying to help them establish a more positive attitude toward it.
Yeah, my bunch is much the same way. They start in junior high and high school working their way towards college scholarship, and some of them are here looking to advance to the 4-year schools. A lot of them use this time as a stepping stone to get ready for professional rodeo. But I think one of the biggest things is the responsibility they have to learn when they get here. Their parents drop them off with a truck, trailer, and a couple of horses worth $250,000, and they look at me like, "You got this, right?" So there's a lot of responsibility for them and me as watching them, and I think they use this time to grow and get ready for the professional level.
Just to piggyback on that, the stress and the anxiety, I think, is the biggest factor. You get a kid that's coming from whatever high school they're coming from or internationally, they come here with big expectations to move up to a 4-year school and to get a degree, to go on professionally, whatever the case may be, and they get on campus and they come from an environment where they were the best player on their high school, on their select team, whatever it is, and they come into an environment where they look around and, man, everybody's just as good as me, or, man, I'm not so sure I'm good enough to be here. And that's incredibly stressful for those guys when they get on campus, and then they start to think, okay, maybe I'm not as good as I thought I was. Where am I going to go from here? Oh my, I'm not getting to play. That anxiety and that stress at this level it's real, and it's a factor.
I was just gonna say, at least for my girls, and I'm sure everyone else is the same, if your ultimate goal is to transfer to a 4-year school, we're gonna mimic what they do at a four-year school as much as possible, as far as schedule, as far as weightlifting, as far as the demands on the court, and academically too. There's no difference between what the expectations are here for when they go on to a four-year school. And I think some kids coming in think that because it's a two-year school, it's going to be easier or less stressful or less intimidating, and that's not true. And our job is to just kind of like hit them with a little stick of reality and show them that, you know, there's no difference and you need to be prepared as much as you are here going into a four-year school, because it's just as hard, it's just as stressful, and maybe in a few ways more, maybe if it's a bigger school and you know, there's a lot more students or it's a little bit more competitive, but yeah, the expectations are the same, and we're trying to mimic what those are for, you know, a four-year school or athletically as well as academically.
Thank you. So we have about 5 minutes left, and I'd like to go down the row, starting with Johnny, coming this way. If there's anything that we haven't talked about that you'd like to address, then that'd be your time. And then also, tell me, why are you at Weatherford College?
That's a good question. Well, I was at the end of my professional rodeo career and had a job offer from Mike Brown, and I thought steady paycheck and benefits, I'll be there. But I think we've covered most everything here tonight or today. Some of the problems, or not problems, probably the biggest issue we have is scheduling of testing, especially in the fall semester for us. A lot of our kids will go to Las Vegas the first 2 weeks of December. And, you know, I've had some kids have to fly back just to take a final exam, and, you know, the expense and trouble of it. But I tell them early in the semester, go talk to your professor and try to get a plan on what we're going to do when it comes to final exam time, and that helps them plan the rest of their year. So I think flexibility in testing would be great or helpful.
Would you repeat that question?
Anything that we haven't covered that you wanted to talk about, and why are you at Weatherford College?
I have nothing else to ask or talk about, but Weatherford College has been an awesome environment for me and my family, and I think that's the reason that I've been here for 46 years.
If I had a question for you guys, it would be, what is your preferred way for us to check grades? I know sometimes our kids will roll in and, you know, they have their grade sheet. It's all crumpled up. You've just taught an hour lecture and they're like, oh, my grade sheet, right? And we want to know the best way to check their grades. Do you like the grade sheets? Would you prefer us to send out emails? Because we want honesty. We want to know their absences, their grades, you know, what kind of email. Okay. No grade sheets. Boo grade sheets. Okay. So yeah, that's my biggest question is being able to keep up with them throughout the semester, so we're not just, you know, in week 15 and they're like, yeah, I'm failing everything, you know. But yeah, that was my question. And right here.
I don't know if y'all heard her question, but she asked the coaches would they send out a roster, and she has no way of knowing if they're an athlete unless they're super tall.
Well, that leaves us out because softball player, we're the 5'7" ladies, yeah. Would you want that sent to everybody or just individual? Perfect.
Well, I will say this, that on WCathletics.com, all of our rosters should be up there for every sport. WCathletics.com. And by the way, that's where you check, that's where the calendars are, that's where the schedules are, and those schedules change quite a bit during, especially those outdoor sports. So to address the issue, not to take over here, but to address the issue of supporting our student athletes, you can go on WCathletics.com and see when they're playing for the rest of the semester.
And then, so I've been here since 2012. I was hired as the assistant and then took over as the head coach in 2013. Have had a lot of success here, love it here. You know, I'll talk to my coaching buddies at 4 years and they're like, why are you still there? Like, you've done well, why are you still there? And I'm like,
why would I leave? Because you guys are great. We have great relationships with our faculty, with the professors on campus. We play in great facilities. We travel well. We're treated well. I love it here. The town is awesome. It's just, I grew up moving like every 4 or 5 years, so this is the longest I've ever lived anywhere in my life. So it feels like finally I have a home and a hometown. So I love it here. I don't know, y'all are gonna have to kick me out of here, so.
Can you hear me? Okay. I recently have been trying to just find ways to get my student athletes more involved on campus. So if there are any things, I don't know, service projects or anything anyone is advocating for that they need help or support in, I think that would be great to just get our student athletes more involved in the regular student community. I think sometimes they just kind of stay within their own little pocket of their team, and it would be great to kind of do some outreach. So if anyone has any ideas or anything that they're working on, let me know. And I am here because I was at a 4-year school before this at UTA, and it was very demanding, and the travel was insane, and I had a small baby. And this has allowed me a lot of flexibility to be home with my children and still be successful. And I think that's really important to show our student athletes and, you know, these young women that we're coaching, is that you can do whatever you want with your life and be successful, and you can work really hard in your career and still have a family and still be able to take care of them and provide for them. And Weatherford has allowed me to do that and to show them that. So that's why I'm here.
Go women. I don't have anything else to add. I just want to say thank you for the opportunity. I appreciate the opportunity to come up here and share with you a little bit about what we do and why we do what we do. And I've been at Weatherford College. This is my second job in coaching, and I love it. I want to be in a position where I can win a championship and be around good players and be around people that love to be excellent at what they do, and I still find that here. So tickled to death to be here every day.
Well, I'm sure that all of the coaches would love to dialogue more. If you have other things that would help them or they can help you, they would love to talk to you a little bit more about that. But would you please thank these coaches for being willing to do this? Thank you. Let's put it right there. And one quick announcement, January 18th, from 4:30 to 6 o'clock in the new Emerging Technologies and Workforce Building. We're going to celebrate Coach McKinley and his 1,000 wins, which, by the way, among all of the NJCAA Division I coaches in the nation, he is #1 in wins. #1. Thank you for your time. Susie?
Thank you, Brent. Wow, Coach McKinley. So we'll see you there January 18th, and we have Adam Finley joining me as well. Our next panelists are gonna be our award-winning faculty and staff. So come on up. These are our rising faculty, our faculty, well, what do we have? We have coming up here. Okay, we have Kelly Staub and Emily Yeager, faculty members of the year. We have our staff members of the year coming up and rising staff members of the year. Okay, we have J.C. Edwards, our rising staff member of 2023. Any others? We had Tammy Peters, was our staff member of the year 2023. And we had Rosie Villanzova, she was staff member 2022, and Kelly, Rosie, Jennifer Englert, rising staff member of the year 2022, but we have you three, ta-da! So I'm gonna have you go ahead and introduce yourself, your role here at Weatherford College,
and your award. We'll just reinforce that. Oh, here we go.
Hello, my name is JC Edwards. I am the Director of Special Projects in the Financial and Administrative Affairs Department.
My name is Kelly Staub. I am the Program Director for the Diagnostic Medical Sonography Program on campus, and I won Faculty Member of the Year last year, so my duties are almost over.
Mine just started. I'm Emily Yeager. I am a math teacher, and I got Faculty Member of the Year this year, so I still have a long time.
All right, yes, a round of applause.
And my name's Adam Finley. I'm Staff Member of the Year 2019, and since we're not represented up here, I won't moderate. I'll be a panel member, okay?
Oh, okay.
That work?
All right, and Susie Jerry,
Change
I
it
was Faculty Member of the Year 2018. So our first question is, what is your best tip for student engagement?
I think Jeff hit the nail on the head earlier. We're all in the relationship game. The better you get to know your students, the better you're engaged with them, the more they're engaged with you. So I think that's a really important piece, is to really get to know the students, what they like, what they don't like, how they study, all those intricate details that make them who they are.
I think that really hits the nail on the head. I would add just creating and helping students have a sense of belonging. I know many here at WC that work hard to try to find students a place where they fit in. I have witnessed many that are great at facilitating a student's sense of belonging, and I think that is really important.
I'm kind of representing, I think, a different area with allied health. The majority of us have students for a semester up to 2 years. And so I think we all try to be very intentional with developing those relationships. And through that, students, when they graduate, they say, like, I want to make you proud, because they know that we're very invested in them. I would say tell me, what was the question?
What are your best tips for student engagement?
Okay, student engagement. So I would say, specifically in the classroom, doing some type of active participation. So every class that we have, we're going to put up a case study and have them write it on the whiteboard, their answer, and kind of look through that and see if they're understanding or not understanding, and create conversations from there. Of course, Kahoot, or we've taken Bean Boozled and made a game of it. The most favorite game right now for our students is we kind of made like a heads-up game, where whatever you're teaching about, we put them in different groups. We made a bunch of note cards, and so they put it up on their head, and the student next to them to the right has to give them clues that they've learned to have them guess that, and then they pass it on and go in a circle. So they've said, we loved hearing how other students have learned that. So we just try to make it fun and make them be involved.
I would say that it doesn't need to be real difficult. If you just learn their names real quickly, that's a huge deal for students. So I try to learn their names within the first 2 weeks, and then just when they walk in the door, just say, "Hey, Susie," or whatever, and lots of times they're just floored that you know their name. That's it. So it really helps them feel more comfortable.
Did you want to add anything, Adam? Okay. Moving on. Oh, what does excellence in service look like to you? So you can go in any order. Excellence in service look like to you?
Well, I guess I'll start us off. I would say going above and beyond your job description. I have witnessed many people here at WC that excel in this area, and they will go out of their way to help others or solve a problem that may not have necessarily been on their day's agenda. It could have altered their timeline on their own tasks and responsibilities, but they still took the time to help. So I think that's an example of excellence in service.
So I would say trying to give back in a positive and impactful way. As a faculty or staff member, you're going to be asked to serve on committees, and I think sometimes it's easy to just kind of show up and check the box that you're there. But those committees are formed for a specific reason, and I would say excellence in service would be committing time to think through the problems that you're trying to solve and review that material and be timely with getting that information to the chair of the committee. So I would say excellence in service is going above and beyond on those committees and stepping up if you see a need.
That on? Okay. I would say that, I mean, the way I teach is I would teach, and then I get a lot of stuff done when I'm driving home. Just thinking about how I could have done that differently, or how I could have reached out to that one kid that didn't get it this way. So I do a lot of summarizing, I guess, on my drives home all the time. And I've been teaching for 30 years now, so, and I still do that all the way home, 30-minute drive. It is, I try to better myself every single day.
I think excellence in service is, from a staff perspective, like JC said, going beyond your job description. We have so many things that we can do in student services, business services, where we are continually solving problems. And I think a lot of our staff do a great job on chipping in and trying to figure out solutions instead of creating problems. And just taking the time to work together in a team-like environment.
Okay, and I just wanted to add, I know, Kelly Staub, you were invited to serve on a certification board this year, credentialing board, and Kathy Boswell. So I think also service is being involved in the broader professional association communities and getting our students involved in those for the community, and you serving in, that capacity, that's also serving our students. And, okay. How do you make students feel welcome and make a connection here and invite them into our college environment? Making them feel welcome and getting them into the college environment.
Inadvertently, I don't try to make a mistake because I do that just on the regular. But when I do make a mistake, I always try to point it out to my students. So they're like, oh, wow, I do that same thing. Or for instance, I count on my fingers a lot. I'm a math teacher, and you shouldn't do that, but I do, and it really makes the students, especially in my developmental classes, it makes them feel so same as me. I mean, I'm counting on my fingers, they're counting on their fingers. So just to get on their level somehow is my goal.
I think in student services, one thing that I do is attentively listen to the student, smile, make eye contact, just hear them out, listen to their problems, and really talk to them about their long-term goals and their plans. So I think it's just it's a going beyond making sure that they understand that I do care.
For allied health programs, our program is 22 months, so 1 to 2 months before they begin the program, we're going to have an orientation. The instructors and I are going to tell about ourselves, what the program is going to be like. We have the students introduce themselves, and something specifically that we do is we pair our incoming students with a senior student. That way they know they specifically have someone that can mentor them that has been through the process on their same level. But we're very intentional about building those relationships during those first 2 weeks of school. Grant just does an awesome job of putting on all those events and encouraging them to go to that. I think that's something Weatherford College does very well, is getting the students connected.
Yes, exactly. I think it really all boils down to building relationships. I think we have a lot of great faculty and staff that are good at pinpointing students' interests and finding where they really excel so that they feel like they have a place here on campus. WC feels like home, and I think everyone here does a great job at helping them feel that way.
Okay. Yes, I'm going to put a plug in for our mentoring program, the QEP, Quality Enhancement Program. And I think we all kind of informally mentor, but we do have a formal mentoring program. See Jared Abraham if you're interested. And I know as we're saying these questions, you're probably all reflecting yourself, and you have your own tips and ideas that you can share, and hopefully someday we can, maybe in these workshops, we can share them this week. What makes Weatherford College a great place to work at? Great place in which to work. What do you like about being at WC?
I would say the top 3 reasons that make WC a great place to work would be my fellow employees I get to work with, the employees I get to work with, and my fellow employees I get to work with. Really, I just think the people here at Weatherford College really make working at Weatherford College so great.
Thanksgiving break, Christmas break, spring break. So, yeah. No, I agree. The people and the students.
I agree with all of those things. And the environment that we work in allied health, all of our programs are uniquely different. We have different accreditation recommendations, and I think I truly appreciate the trust from leadership and the educational autonomy that they trust the program directors and the clinical coordinators to make the best decisions for their students day in and day out. And that creates an environment where I feel like the majority of us are able to excel and do well for our students.
Oh, yeah. What's the question?
Yeah, it's like, I can't remember.
Why do you like to work here?
I love the flexibility of my hours are good. I like to have freedom to do what I do in the classroom every single day. That's really the biggest thing, at least in our department. Our department is very tight-knit, and we listen to each other and bounce ideas off of each other constantly. So it's just very helpful to be in an office where you're really close to all your other workmates.
Okay, thanks. Well, for our last question, and to wrap up, what is your best advice that you give to students in order for them to be successful? Your advice to students.
So my advice to students when they when they ask that question, or I feel like I need to give it freely, is the number one secret is to go to class. Students, I tell them they have to go to class to be successful. If they go to class, you'll get them through the finish line as long as they put the work in.
You stole my answer. Go to class, do your homework, and check your emails. And that is 80% of the battle. I really think so. I mean, the learning part will come if you do all those things.
I would say we have lots of advice that we give our students, but maybe being open to different studying methods. A lot of students are very set on how they've studied in the past, and I think every single class is different, and they should be open to, I mean, maybe they're a solo learner, maybe they study better in groups, maybe they do flashcards, maybe they actually draw out anatomy and point labels to it. And so I just try to encourage them. In allied health, they're not learning something for a semester, they're learning something and they have to retain it for forever and apply that at clinical. So I think with our students, we see that they have to approach studying in a different way, and change is hard, the material's hard. So just guiding them through that and encouraging them.
I agree with all those answers and fully support all those answers. To add, I would say just getting to know your professors, getting to know your staff, getting out there, getting involved, participating in the organizations and activities, because you never know what type of opportunities could come about through those relationships you build through that.
Okay. Well, I always like to tell my students to be successful, stick with it. Stick with it. And anybody out there have a question or a comment for our panelists? Or, yeah? Well, this has been a really rich panel talk to hear from faculty and staff, and then to hear from the coaches and the athletic side. That was wonderful and eye-opening. Occasionally I do get a rodeo student or a volleyball student, and they really have to work hard. So we're going to, let's have a round of applause for our panelists here. And really, this is the end of this All-Campus Connections meeting, and there are workshops and events. There's a coffee social, Q&A, all sorts of things. So go on out, prepare your courses, meet with your departments, and have a wonderful semester. Make 2024 a great year. Thank you all to our panelists. Enjoy.